Describe various types of epithelial tissue with the help of a labeled diagram. So students, now let us learn about the different types of epithelial tissue. So first of all, epithelial tissues. What are these? Epithelial tissues are also called as lining or covering tissue. They line the entire surface of the body, both externally and internally, and they give protection. So that is why they are called as lining or a covering tissue. They help in providing protection. These cells are packed tightly together with little or no intercellular space. So observe these images. The cells are so closely arranged such that the intercellular space, the gap is not present between them. And epithelial tissue in the body, they are arranged in two different ways. Some are called simple epithelium and some are called compound epithelium. In simple epithelium, a single layer of cells are arranged and they rest on the basement membrane. So here we can see there is only one layer of cells and they are resting on the basement membrane. So such cells are called simple epithelium. So here also we can see a single layer of cells resting on the basement membrane. But there are certain regions where they are arranged in multiple layers, more than one layer. So here we can see there are many layers of cells resting on the basement membrane. These are called compound or stratified epithelium. So based on the number of layers, we classify epithelium into simple epithelium and compound or stratified epithelium. Now coming to the simple epithelium, again based on the structure, there are different types. So if you observe this image, we can see there are different structures. So one is flat, one is elongated, one is cubical in shape. So based on their shape, again simple epithelium is further classified. Now first one is simple squamous epithelium. So these are the simple squamous epithelium. Now these cells are very thin and flat and all of them rest on the basement membrane. They have got centrally placed nucleus. They are polygonal in shape with irregular boundaries. So such simple squamous epithelium, it is found in the blood vessels lining of the alveoli. So if you take the lungs, in the lungs we have alveoli. So in the alveoli we can find the simple epithelium. Even the blood vessels are also lined by squamous epithelium. So here, since these cells are very thin and flat, they help in exchange of substances. Diffusion can take place very easily. So they are found in the lungs, that is alveoli of the lungs or the blood vessels. The next one, simple cuboidal epithelium. So here, these are the cuboidal epithelium. They are cubical in shape and they are found in the kidney. Now these cells are again arranged in the single layer. In one layer it is arranged. It is present in the regions where secretion and absorption of substances takes place. For example, where something is secreted or something has to be absorbed, like an enzyme is secreted or any useful substance has to be absorbed, there we can find a cuboidal epithelium. And these are maximum in the proximal convoluted tubule of nephrons. So in the nephrons there is a part called PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, and here we find the simple cuboidal epithelium. The main function here is when ultrafiltration takes place, so all useful substances is present in the primary urine and this has to be absorbed back into the blood. So this proximal convoluted tubule of nephron does this function and hence they have simple cuboidal epithelium for the absorption of substances. And then we have simple columnar epithelium. So here we can see these are columnar epithelium. The cells have column-like shape and they have nucleus near the basement membrane. This is the basement membrane. And these are also arranged in single layer. So we call them simple columnar epithelium. They are tall, slender, with nuclei present towards the base. And some of these cells have got a flat end. So one end is attached to the basement membrane and other end is flat. There is nothing present on the other end. But some may have ciliated appearance, that is presence of the cilia on it. They are called ciliated columnar epithelium. and some do not have. They are called simple columnar epithelium. And among simple columnar epithelium, one which is present in the intestine, they have a finger-like projections called microvilli. So in the free end, they have finger-like projections like this, microvilli on the surface of the cell. So these finger-like projections are called microvilli. We can find the structure on this part. They are present especially in the intestine. They help in absorption of the digested food substances. That is, the nutrients which completely get digested in the intestine will be absorbed by the microvilli. That is, microvilli of the columnar epithelium, which is found on the villi. Now, intestine has got a structure called villi, where the final absorption of nutrients takes place, and this villi is lined with the simple columnar epithelium, which has got microvilli on its free surface. So their function over here is absorption and secretion. They absorb the nutrients, and secretion is they produce the enzymes which helps in digestion. The next one is ciliated epithelium. So these are presence of hair-like structure on the free surface. They are nothing but columnar epithelium only, which has got free tiny cilia on the free surface. Now these structures are present in the bronchioles, that is in the respiratory tract. They are even lined throughout the respiratory system. They are also present in the oviduct in the female reproductive part. In the bronchioles, they help in transportation of dust particles of foreign substances which has been inhaled during respiration. In the oviduct, it helps in the transportation of the egg to the fallopian tube. Now, many of the epithelium cells which are involved in secretion of substances, they are called as glandular epithelium. Now, these glandular epithelium can be unicellular. For example, goblet cells in the alimentary canal, they are called unicellular gland. It is made up of one cell. Or it can be multicellular, as in case of salivary glands. Now, the cells over in this region, they help in secretion. That is, the secretion can be an enzyme or a hormone. So, these cells, they are modified epithelium cells, they are involved in secretion. Such a cell are called glandular epithelium. It can be either unicellular or multicellular. Now, further, based on the type of secretion they release and how they release, based on that, the glandular epithelium are classified into two types. Certain glands, they have got the duct, and through the duct, they release their secretion. So, such a gland is called exocrine gland. For example, the salivary gland. So, it has got a duct, and through the duct, it releases its secretion. That is salivary juice. So, we call these glands as exocrine. And there are certain glands which do not have duct. They are called as ductless gland. They do not have duct, and they release their secretion directly into the blood. So, such a gland is called endocrine gland. Their secretion includes hormones. They release the hormone into the blood. So, based on the way they release the secretion, whether the duct is present or it is absent, we have classified the glandular epithelium into exocrine and endocrine. Now, so initially we learned the types of epithelium based on the arrangement. If they are arranged in single layer, we call it as simple epithelium. If they are arranged in multiple layer, we call them as stratified or compound epithelium. So now we learned about all the simple epithelium. So now let's learn about the compound epithelium. Compound epithelium consists of many layers of cells. So here we can say there are many layers of cells arranged one above the other. So such cells are called compound epithelium. So here they are not involved in transportation of substances, secretion or absorption. Since many layers is present, diffusion cannot take place. And since again many layers are present, secretion and absorption is difficult. But the main function of compound epithelium is to provide protection. So their main function will be provide protection. So let's learn about their location. So compound epithelium is found on the dry surface of the skin, that is on the outer surface of the skin. So here the dead skin which is present, it has got multiple layers of epithelium, and here it provides protection. It acts as a barrier. It prevents the foreign substances or dust particles from the external environment to enter into our body. So it is providing protection against foreign substances by acting as a barrier. So it forms a barrier between the external environment and the body. So apart from the skin, it is also found in the buccal cavity. The inner layer of the mouth is covered by compound epithelium. When we eat something which is hard or which is tough, which has got a sharp end, they can cause damage to the skin present inside the buccal cavity. So that is why the buccal cavity is lined with compound epithelium. So whenever the hard material or substance is eaten, the inner cells does not get damaged. And similarly, it is found in the pharynx, pancreatic duct, the inner lining of the salivary glands, and in all regions it provides protection. So compound epithelium's main function is provide protection, and they are arranged in multiple layers.